So here we go. I was interrupted by a phone call from my daughter. So, yesterday I decided to do a little bit of grocery shopping and bring some old 45s into the record store that I come across from a radio station. Anyway, so I go down to Mechanicsville and I get Giant Tiger and get a whole bunch, get some stuff. And on the way back, I always take the long way that's got less hills just to conserve energy on my electric bike. So anyway, I take the long way. And I come up near Bronson and Gladstone. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I need milk. Should I go in here? And then I look at my watch, and it's 4 o'clock. Somewhere around 4 o'clock anyway, probably after 4. So I thought, oh, he's gone. Because on the 29th, when he charged me or charged me with trespassing, he left the store at 3:30 in the afternoon, so I'm assuming that's when his shift changed, right? So I'm at Gladstone at the PETROCAN, and I just cruise right through the parking lot. And I come up to the Somerset PETROCAN, and I lock my bike up outside, and I open the door, and I poke my head in, and I look at the cash, and there's 2 people at the cash, and it's the Indian people, really nice people. And it looks like they're running the store today, because PetroCan usually doesn't pay 3 people to sit in the store. It's only 3 if the manager's there. So anyway, I see the people at the cash, so I walk in. I don't see Mike anywhere. I walk over to the fridge. I open the fridge. I grab my milk. As I grab my milk, the storeroom door opens, and Mike's standing right there, and right away he's threatening me. Right away. What are you doing here? I'm calling the cops and this and that. And oh man, I just say, hey Mike, I'm buying the milk. Hey, ha. And I walk over to the cash, and Mike tells the cashier, the Indian guy, who's a super nice guy, oh, don't let him pay. Don't let Sean pay for the milk. So I look at the Indian dude and I said, the 3 cops told me that I could come in here anytime when he's not here. Right? I said, I don't have a copy of his shift when he's working. I assumed that it was 3:30 from the other day. I was wrong. So what? Big fucking deal. I didn't say all that. I just said, thought he was gone at 3 o'clock. Oh, Sean, no problem. I said, I don't even want to sit here and talk to this clown. He says, Sean, the Indian guy grabs my milk. Bloop, bloop. I pay for my milk. I walk out the door. Right? Listen to this, man. The only time that I did not wait for the police, listen to this one. I waited 4 fucking hours the other day for those cops to come. 4 fucking hours standing outside PetroCan, going back in once to tell the maniac Mike to call the cops again. And that was the day that Mike walked out of the store at 3:30. I watched him walk out of the store. So I actually stayed there 30 minutes longer waiting for the police that never showed up. That was, okay? So yesterday, I get my milk. I go outside, I unlock my bike, I come home, I unpack, I go over to visit my friend. While I'm at my friend's, 2 police cars, undocumented police cars. Remember these words, undocumented police cars. 4 cops, 2 undocumented police cars, 4 undocumented police officers. I called this morning, dispatch, gave them my address and my full name, and there was never any report of 2 Ottawa taxpayers, police cruisers parked outside my door. Even though they're tracked with GPS, there is no anything to say that those 2 cars were at my front door. And there's nothing to say that there was 4 cops, 2 at my back door and 2 at my front door, over a trespassing, that goof at the fucking PETROCAN. I call him all kinds of names on here, but I don't do it to his face because that's I don't need any more problems. He's a piece of shit in my books, and that's the way I'll go for it. And that's it. That's my opinion. PETROCAN Mike, the fucking dweeb, the dweeb. So anyway, I get 2 cop cars. So this morning, this is all how I find out. So this morning, my landlord knocks on my door because we got some business to do, and he says, the cops are looking for you. But why am I learning that the cops are looking for me from my fucking landlord? The old man Blair that sits down at the front on the front porch all morning, he interacted with the cops. So at around 6 o'clock at night, and that's pretty much probably 4, 5, 6. So maybe about an hour after I was at PETROCAN, the police showed up here. The front door is locked, so they banged on the old man's window. And when old man Blair came out, they all started yelling my name to everybody. S.Chartrand, Sean J. S.Chartrand. Where does he live? Which apartment does he live in? They didn't even know what apartment I lived in. Blair had to tell them. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on there. So, my ham radio, by the way, I'm licensed for it. So anyway, I go downstairs and I talk to Blair, and he says, yeah, they were really aggressive, and he says I was trying to explain to them that you're an all right guy and you help out, and they just didn't want nothing to do with nothing. He said they were just being really aggressive. So as soon as I found out, I had a fucking panic attack. I got cops at my doors for no reason. So I didn't know why they were there. So I go, now I'm worried. I'm trying to figure out how I can call the police because I don't have a cell phone. I don't have a phone. So what I do is I go next door to my neighbor Chandler. He runs the temple, the Indian temple, right? Really super fucking nice guy, man. I do all kinds of work for this guy because I like him. I like his company. So I walk in and I go, Chandler, man, listen, can you give me a hand here? I just need to use your phone so I can call the police. Because usually when the police when I say I need to call the police, it's because I'm pulling somebody out of a car, or I've stopped somebody from beating somebody up, or it's just something, you know what I mean? The other way, right? So Chandler says, what? The cops are looking for you. And then he looks at his wife and he goes, oh, remember when we drove by Sean's yesterday? There was 2 cop cars out front. And I go, yeah, that must have been it, because I was at Mike's at the corner visiting Mike when they came to my house. Chandler ran the Kentucky Fried Chicken in Mechanicsville for 10 years or something. So Chandler stands there and explains to his wife, when I was working at Kentucky Fried Chicken and I called the police, I could get the police to do anything I wanted to because they believe me, because I'm the manager and I'm calling. Whether it's true or not the police are hoping that it's true, that what you are saying is true, because they're not even investigating. They've wrongfully convicted you on a wrongful fucking thing, right? So that's why the cops have to do some kind of investigation. They just can't go on the word of a complete stranger. But Chandler says, when it comes down to a store manager calling, the Ottawa police listened prolifically to the manager. So when I asked the 3 cops on the 29th to talk to the cashier, they refused to do their fucking job and would have been able to avoid this whole fucking mess if they would have just did their cock-sucking job, okay? Because they would have asked the little girl at the counter that I was talking to for half an hour before maniac fucking Michael walked in, that I was just having a coffee warming up because it was cold outside, and I had just purchased an overpriced coffee and was having small talk with her, and she was enjoying the small talk. Fuck you. This is a result of the Ottawa police doing what they usually do, which is wrong. Listening to one fucking person when they show up on a scene, okay? I'm going to internal affairs because this is a running practice. And I got caught in their running practice, okay? Remember, I went to internal affairs last time to change the laws on the e-bikes or to get the laws familiarized with society. I was called in by internal affairs to help socialize e-bikes into society, right? Well, I'll be calling internal affairs again, because if the cops would have just listened to both of us, they would have learned that maniac Michael is a fucking head case. Okay? You don't call cops on people just because you don't like them. Okay? At least come up with a fucking half-decent reason, you fucking wormy little prick. Yeah. Like, I don't break the law because I think it's okay that I can do that. I don't call the cops like the boy who cries wolf. You see, we are going to get those recordings of his phone calls to the police, and he will sit there and listen to himself say whatever he said to the Ottawa police about me. Okay? Because what's going on here, 4 fucking undocumented police officers with 2 GPS tracking police cars that are undocumented at my residence yesterday at around 6 o'clock. Okay? So Ottawa police, can you explain why you have 2 undocumented taxpayers paid police cruisers and 4 undocumented taxpayers paid police officers at my front door and back door? Can you explain that to me? Because the only thing that I can think of is you're being leaded around by your fucking nose ring by somebody who's weaponizing the law and making you you guys follow his commands. There's something wrong here. I don't know, but Chandler, explain that to me. So Mental Mike at PETROCAN is acting like a manager, and the police are taking every beck and word that he has to say, even though there are more people in that building that would be more honest and that they would get a more honest opinion of what's going on. But the Ottawa police refused to ask any questions to the girl that was running the cash, which would have told her, like I said before, that she was enjoying a long conversation with me. They neglected to do their job diligently. All they did was, like Chandler from Kentucky Fried Chicken said, when Chandler called the cops, he could tell the cops like charge them with trespassing. He could tell them that. But Chandler is an honest person, so Chandler wouldn't fuck anybody's life by putting a criminal record on them for nothing. Like, I'm 59 years old. They're going to put a criminal charge of trespassing on me? Can you see me? Does it look in my eyes? Do I look concerned? I have done nothing wrong, and I am willing to go the distance. If you want to send If the Ottawa police want to send undocumented cruisers to my fucking house to harass me, because I don't see any other reason why there would be undocumented, GPS tracked, tax funded police cruisers at my door without some kind of intimidation. They weren't sent here. Where's the documentation? Why were they sent to my door? Where is the documentation? What did the cops say to me 20 years ago? What was your intention? That's what it comes down to. What's your intention? What is my intention? My intention is to try and buy my milk without any interference by an irate employee who's worked too many years at PETROCAN and is not liked by, and this is, I can speculate, I can say this shit, who is not liked by co-employees, and he does not like being taken out of his little store down on Gladstone and made to run shifts on Somerset where he gets to be one-on-one with all the crackheads. 20 years of watching, just observing these people. 20 years. I got 10 years down at PETROCAN at fucking Gladstone of observing them, going every morning and watching my coffee and drinking my coffee. And I was a real coffee fiend back then. And I knew the managers down there as well. I might even got into a tiff with one or two of the people down there, but wasn't my fault. It was something that they had done. And I'm not saying that I've never done anything wrong in my life. God forbid, I've done my share. But I won't take it in the ass from a fucking PETROCAN employee who thinks he's got the cop's phone number tattooed on the side of his cock. See, I ain't like that. Once again, do you see any part of me that feels concerned that I've done something wrong? I am the type of person that if I've done something wrong, I will admit to it. And if I've done nothing wrong, get ready for the ride. Okay? Because I've already, you crazy fucks out there, I've already started to seek legal advice on the 20... I think it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I went and sought legal advice from my support worker, Shannon. That is documented. We've made an appointment for the ticket people that fight tickets because Shannon asked me if she minded me using a student lawyer. And I told her, no, I don't mind, because this is such an open and shut case of trespassing, of illegal charge of trespassing. So, yeah, it'll be good experience for a new lawyer. And it's no skin off my nuts about worrying about losing the case, because we already know he's batshit fucking lunatic. He's already proven. You know, even if you fucking spit in my face, I'll still have to say hi to you. Like, when all this is said and done and over with, and he loses in court, and I walk into PETROCAN, do you think that's going to stop me from saying good morning to him every morning? Not at all. Not at all. What's your intentions? To be a decent person. Okay? I'll always remember the day I left fucking prison. Okay? And the guard was saying, "See you soon. Talk to you later." He had all these one-liners to insinuate that you were going to be back, you were going to fuck up again, and you're going to be back in the prison. Hey, I saw that guy doing that there from about 20 people away. And when he got to me, I said, "Not in your fucking lifetime." And I walked out. And I've never been back there, and I've never done nothing wrong since. I've imported kilos of cocaine I've imported kilos of marijuana, pounds and pounds of marijuana, okay, in my day. And I'll tell you, I've rubbed shoulders with quite some fucking people in this city, people that I kind of look up to. I mean, they're not the right people that you're supposed to look up to, but for people like me, they are. Okay? So, it didn't faze me when I got charged with simple possession of a kilo of cocaine. It didn't faze me at all because it wasn't mine. So all I got was 2 years plus a day that made federal offense. And it also made me an APR so that I didn't even have to do the 2 years plus a day. I did 6 months because I hit a special program for people that don't have any violence on their criminal records. Sorry, but I don't have any violence. The people that I did get into fights with, they either couldn't or didn't want to. Okay? So that's why I don't have any violence on my record. If I started touching toes with somebody, it's because they deserved it. So I've never had a violent charge in my life, and I've knocked out a few people in my days. But I've never had a violent charge on my criminal record. Drug charges? Oh my goodness. Kilo of cocaine. Okay? And you're going to send 2 undocumented police cars, GPS tracked. So when I go and ask for the fucking documentation of where those vehicles are in a fucking Public Information Act, right? Access to public information, those cars are going to be on there. Those cars are going to be on a Public Information Act sitting out my fucking door. When I called the fucking dispatch this morning and asked if she had any record of those cars being at my door or those officers being aggressive with my neighbors for no reason. Imagine that. Poor fucking Blair downstairs. Like, he's the nicest fucking old guy you'll ever meet, and to be a goof to him there, you know what? The cop, if you're watching this there, and you're the one that was being real asshole to Blair, fuck you. Try something like that on somebody that doesn't give a fuck, and you'll know your place pretty fucking quick. To do that to an old man downstairs sitting there, half fucking, you're an asshole. Wow. To do that to an old man, you're sick fuckers, you know that? Come to my place, undocumented, trying to intimidate me, trying to intimidate my neighbors. Everybody in the neighborhood saw your trip go down like it was an assault fucking arrest, like you were gonna throw me on the fucking ground or something for trespassing, for fucking trespassing. Out of all the fucking times that I've fucking trespassed, okay, that you think that I've trespassed illegally, I've only said one thing that was irate to Mr. fucking mental case Mike at PETROCAN, Mr. Michel. And you know what that was? On the 29th, with my photographic memory, is when he picked up the phone, and I was talking to him as he was walking over to the phone to call the police. I said, quote, unquote, the only reason the police are going to show up here is if you lie to them. I repeated that 3 times while he was on the phone. Okay? When he hung up the phone and said the cops are coming, he walked towards the stockroom in the back. And as he walked by, I will admit honestly and openly saying, Mike, you're a real piece of fucking work. Also, when I noticed I didn't get any of a reaction for being polite and ignorant at the same time, I just went and called him a complete asshole. I will admit to calling him an asshole. Anybody that does what he does, calling the police like that on an old guy for getting milk, okay, we are going to learn in court that this person cannot, I don't give a fuck. You can't do that to me. Michael, this is personal, Michael. Michael, this is personal now. Okay? Okay? It's not physical, it's personal. Okay? Let's get one thing straight. Okay, Mr. Michael? I'm gonna come after you through court. Now, you can manipulate those words any way you want, but my intentions are to show the judge what kind of a person you are by the evidence that you have left behind of your irate acting and your there's no words for what you do, because to me it's a mental issue. There's something wrong with you. Okay? That's why 20 years ago, when you started working down at PETROCAN on Gladstone, I didn't talk to you back then, because I noticed there's something wrong here. Now, PETROCAN is slowly, after 20 years, has figured out that there is something wrong. When I was approached by the manager on the 29th, on the 2nd of March, on the 2nd of March, when the manager said, Sean, there is nothing we at PETROCAN can do. This is between you and him. Quote, unquote, from the manager. Cop told me today, you better go and talk to the manager. From managers, I gave the manager a bulletproof vest for his employees to use if they were intimidated by the customers. Okay? So I did talk to the manager. Okay, the manager said, quote, what's going on is not between you, Sean, and PETROCAN. PETROCAN has not barred you from PETROCAN. Mike has personally barred you as an employee of PETROCAN. That does not permit Mike to have you barred from PETROCAN when Michelle is not in the store. PETROCAN seems to agree that they shouldn't be losing the money that I spend there because of what this kid is doing, because I am friends and the manager knows my disposition on everything, because I'm very open and honest with those people, because I feel for them. I feel for the younger people that work at PETROCAN with the aggressive crackheads that they have to experience. And I don't care what anybody thinks. If there's a way that I could ever get in between an incident and help the cashier, I would. I do not sign a waiver from PETROCAN like mental case Mike does. Mike signs a waiver stating that he is not allowed to intervene with shoplifters. I'm not shoplifting. So legally, he's allowed to intervene with me in whatever. This is where it gets foggy. So he's allowed to intervene with me to a point in which it becomes legal or not. So if he's going to fabricate something while he's working at PETROCAN to have me criminally charged, this is illegal, and I can contest this by picking number 1, 2, 3 option at the bottom of my trespassing ticket, because the police refused to do their job because of a system that's in place. And I explained to you the system. As Chandler, my best friend, 77-year-old man, worked at ran the Kentucky Fried Chicken, and he said to me, Sean, when I called the police, I could pretty much say anything and the police would listen to me. It didn't matter what the person said. They didn't matter. I understand that now. I understand that completely. But it is not up to the police to be complicit with a law-abiding officer with credentials of being law enforcement. So you're supposed, see, Ottawa Police, you're given, many tools to work with here. Many tools to work with, Ottawa Police. You are. It's a shame you ignored every fucking one of them when you dealt with me that morning at 8:30 in the morning. Okay? You had the opportunity. See, we're discussing 2 cruisers undocumented sitting on my fucking porch. 4 cops and 2 cruisers undocumented. This is all because of this individual on the 29th. This individual, mental case Mike from PETROCAN, and the 3 officers that partied with him. So, and don't get me wrong, I was very polite outside, and I asked politely. I did too, and it's really a fucking shame the cops didn't do their fucking job, because I wouldn't have to go through this if they just would have asked the girl what I was doing in the store. It would have been all solved. But because we were dealing with somebody that was lying intentionally to the police, and the police were just doing something that they're conformed to do. This is something that they do all the time, and I'm going to internal affairs about this, because this is not fair. Like, I know now, I understand, because I've heard it from a multiple of managers now, that the police will conduct any kind of fucking thing that the managers tell them to do. Charge them or not charge them. The police do not, at that point, the police don't even do an investigation. I wonder, are the police supposed to do an investigation before they criminally charge somebody with trespassing? I'm just wondering. A full investigation. Like, who did you talk to? What, you only talked to one person? You mean there was a capable, mouth-breathing human standing right there, that the person you're being... Does any of this make any sense to anybody? Please? Does any of this makes any sense to anybody? I wish, please voice your opinion on this. Please, please, please. Share this as much as you want. I don't care. It's really good if you do, because like I've contested over the last videos from day one, from the day it happened, that I've done nothing wrong. So if you would like to share this and be a part of righting the wrongs of the conduct of the Ottawa Police, because I'll be going to internal affairs with this, and I'll be making videos of it, okay? Because this is wrong. You just can't do this to people. You can't make someone that's been through double bypass open heart surgery, you're not supposed to get excited. You're not supposed to inflict misery on. You're doing it all. You're doing it all to me. Everything you really shouldn't be doing to me, you're doing. Now, I hope it gets through, because I told the girl in the dispatch this morning that I'm a heart patient, okay? So hopefully because me making it an issue, being a heart patient, should actually open up the eyes to the police and say, oh, wait a minute now, if that guy's a heart patient, how can he be crawling under the skin of the guy that we're believing every beck and word from? The guy who keeps calling wolf? So I honestly, I don't know, right? So the more people like you guys out there that are going to look at this and look, and I know it's a long video. It's probably an hour and something. It's actually it's only 36 minutes. Wow, you're lucky. Well, that's because I've got this whole scenario photographed in my mind. I've got the 29th till yesterday photographed in my mind. You can't. I don't think you could beat me on anything that happened since the 29th till yesterday. I know exactly what happened. I know who's done what. I know for how long they have done it. I've known for how long they were doing it. I know everything. And it wasn't hard to understand what was going on. So, you see, the manager taking me, when I was talking with the manager and the manager telling me that there's nothing he can do about the employee. You know what the manager is saying when he's telling me there's nothing wrong between PETROCAN and me. There's something wrong between PETROCAN and their employee. And the manager has told the employee if he's going to call the cops, he's going to be calling the cops personally, not on PETROCAN, not using PETROCAN. PETROCAN likes Sean, right? Been going there for 20 years. Everybody at PETROCAN loves me. And if I did cross somebody at PETROCAN, I sure as hell made it up with them, because that's the way the person I am. I would have made it up with them some shape, way, or form. Sorry, saying sorry, or just being nice to them. So, like and share this as much as possible. Please, I beg of you. I beg of you. I beg of you on the point that I had 2 undocumented taxpayers' police cruisers here. And dispatch at the Ottawa Police had no clue that these cars were here with 4 officers. What does that tell you about what's happening? Do you think sharing this video could help me just a little bit? I got undocumented cruisers and undocumented officers banging at my door while I'm socializing at my friend's house down the street. So please, I beg of you, like, subscribe, and this is only going to go on till it's over. So till we go to court, I'm going to be posting videos like this. It's going to be like my next run-in, if there is one, which I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to have a run-in with Mental Case Mike from PETROCAN. That is not my objective. I mean, if I was a complete fucking asshole and I had money, lots of money, and I could just go and get a lawyer and the lawyer would do what I say, and I could just keep going back to PETROCAN and having this fool do this to me every time, and then with the money I had, I could fight this to the God's end of the world and win on him. But the scenario is, I'm just a poor fucking overweight disabled guy. And this guy thinks that he can fuck my life, okay, using the police. Not this guy. I'm sorry, Michael, Michelle from PETROCAN. You definitely have picked the wrong person to lie about. I have spent too many of these past years making an honest, righteous name for myself. And I'll be damned if a psychotic mental case fucking PETROCAN clown boy is going to ruin my reputation from being an importer of drugs into this country. That's what I did. To being the guy that pulls the crackhead out of your car once he's smashed your windows and is trying to steal everything out of it. So from being the drug importer to the Good Samaritan. And I used to be the neighborhood watch, part of the neighborhood watch down on Mental Case Mikey. I was the neighborhood watch down when you started PETROCAN down there on Gladstone. It was me and Shane Smith. Yeah, we were the ones that were sitting friends with the Ottawa Police down there at that time. We were the ones in the football field at the Cambridge School with the case of beer and the spotlight on all the whores in front of the Ponderosa when they were doing their tricks at the end of the street. Do you remember that, Mike? You remember going to work with all the prostitutes on Bronson at the bus stop and everything? Yeah. We took care of that. Yeah, me and Shane Smith, me and him, we took care of that. We sat there and shined a light on them, an innovative technique that doesn't harm anybody but bothers the shit out of people. The prostitutes couldn't handle being under a spotlight for every weekend. It was like that. We did that for like party time. Get a 6-pack, lawn chair, schoolyard, spotlight. That's all we do. And the police cars would drive by real slow, and you would see their faces out they'd have their arm in the window, and they'd be looking at us in the field going, right on, like that. So, Michael, tell me about this. Tell me about how much of a bad person I am. Tell me about me catching the neighbor, the crackhead, stealing the neighbor's chip truck, a $50,000 chip truck. I'm catching them jumping the fence, wrecking his van. This has all happened on Arthur. We're talking over like $300,000 in crackhead damage. That's right. Neighborhood Watch. That's me. That's the guy that was there. Also, this is the guy that was running down fucking Arthur Alley after the guy. He jumped out of the fucking chip truck after jamming the chip truck into the trees. He crawled out of the window, and I ran after him down the fucking... Yeah. So what are you going to do, Mike? What's up, Mike? See, this is just a facade, right? You can look at this, Mike, and you can think whatever the fuck you want. That's your right. But when it becomes a part of when I have a say, is when you start telling people that this is scaring you, because that is what they call crying wolf. You ever hear that little story? You know, the boy goes outside, sees the wolf, he cries the wolf. Or actually, I don't think he goes outside and he's bored. That's what it was. The little boy goes outside and he's bored. Nobody's talking to him. So he yells, wolf, 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 and everybody comes out and he's got all these people's attention. He's loving it, and he's having coffee with them. So the next night, he's sitting outside and he's bored, and he decides, wow, that was fun. I had lots of people to talk to and everything like that. I said, so he gets up and he starts yelling, wolf, wolf, wolf. And all the people come out of the woodwork, and the police, and they all come, and right? And there's no wolf. This kid keeps calling, and there's no wolf, right? So he does it again on a Friday night, calls the police, and everything says there's a wolf, and there's no wolf. So on Sunday night, the kid's in his backyard eating marshmallows by a fire, and a wolf comes up and eats his head off, grabs him by the throat, rips open his jugular vein, and he slowly dies to death by bleeding. A long and slow, agonizing death. And why? The moral of the story? Because he was crying wolf. So spread this, man. I have zero animosity towards this mental case, Mike. You can see if it gets out of control and we have to subpoena all the camera footage from PETROCAN, it's all there. It shows that I've done nothing wrong. It's all there. It's all there. It's all there. So, yeah. So that was part 3. Hopefully there won't be a part 4. I got to contact the police, the manager at the store on Gladstone, since this one is different. And I got to talk to him about what he said to me about the PETROCAN doesn't have a problem with me. It's that guy, right? So, because if it's just that guy, then I got to start stating it in this video that PETROCAN has nothing to do. See, I don't know for sure if PETROCAN has anything to do with Mikey. You know, what kind of legal advice did PETROCAN give Michael? If that's what they've given him, whatever advice they've given him, they gave him the wrong bucket advice. You can't do that to people. You can't just conjure up that they're trespassing. You just can't do that. You can't walk into a store and 10 minutes later, and when you've been by yourself for the whole 8 minutes of that 10 minutes, and then come out and charge somebody with trespassing. You just can't do that. You gotta. I did nothing for you to physically warrant trespassing. I mean, if you're woke, Mike, if you're that kind of a person, that woke people shit, then it's your own fault. And if that's the case, Mike, if you're really woke, because I haven't had a conversation with you, with this Mike character, I haven't had a good conversation. Because like I told you, 20 years, I stayed clear of that guy. He's not right in the capezo. So I am so happy my neighbor explained that to me. That's just more information that I didn't know. Like, I knew managers to do that, but there's actually a that's cause for a lawsuit against the Ottawa police is what it is, because they're not conducting their job. So all these people from stores or restaurants that call the police, I'm sure 80% of them are probably correct in calling the police for an irate person inside their premises to be evicted. But what I'm seeing now is that there's a running trend of officers not giving a fuck about the victim and just listening to the victim? No, the accused, not giving a fuck about the accused and being infatuated with the accuser to the point where it's a psychological thing. But that's where the cops got to disconnect and do the job of performing an investigation by taking the words of all the people in the premises, not just the accuser. By just taking the statement of the accuser is especially if there's no physical violence involved. Like, nothing's happened. I didn't punch him. He didn't punch me. I didn't throw a milk at him. He didn't throw a milk at me. There's nothing. I didn't have shit breath when I was talking to him. I didn't smell bad because I shower every day. So you can't do this to somebody because you don't like them, Michelle. Okay? Just can't do that. And this amalgamation of your psychotic stuff, calling the police all the time, you know they told you, eh? They know that, right? Like, unless I'm doing something extremely, like, the law for trespassing is to get somebody removed if they're doing something wrong by what's dictated by the law. Not what you feel, Michelle, not what you feel. What is dictated by the law. Okay? So, on that note, we are going to have our day in court. So, I would suggest, because I'm telling you right now, I'm letting you know right now that I'm picking number 1, 2, 3 option on that ticket that you got me, that you personally got me. I'm picking 3 options. That means I'm getting a lawyer, you're getting a lawyer, and the both of us are going to court. And I'm going to make you say exactly everything you said, word for word, action for action, on video, the whole 9 yards. I'll even bring in character witnesses of myself, okay? I'm going to bring in character witnesses. I'm going to bring in my friend Chandler next door, who is runs the Indian temple here in Ottawa. I'm going to go see my lawyer friend at the corner, Michael, Mr. Bell, and I'm going to ask him to come and represent me as a reference, because we've known each other. He's a super nice guy. Somebody, even my landlord this morning, offered to fucking show up in court for me for reference. Imagine that. My landlord. That surprised me a lot. My goddamn landlord. You know what I mean? Like, but like then again, I do all kinds of things for these people. You know, like he didn't know anything about fumigating, about insects and stuff like that. I went through that when I was a kid when we had the cottage and we had a flea infestation. I knew everything about that. So I take care of this building. I take care of the people that are in it to the point that I can. So like, if you're a really dirty person, I can't. I can spray your apartment, but I can't really do a good job because I'm not going to say it twice. So on that note, I do what I can to help everybody in this building, on my street. You know, like Les, the guy next door across in the rooming house, he'll come and knock on my door. Sean, you got a joint you can lend me? Oh yeah, I got a joint. Here you go, man. Here you go. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then 2 weeks later, knock on the door. Hey, Sean, try this, man. Hey, right on. Thanks. That's your mine. You know what I mean? Good people. And then you got bad people like the boy that cries wolf, right? And he's causing so much aggravation. Look at him. He had those 4 officers. Psycho Michael from PETROCAN had 4 officers. Crazy. Imagine that. Mike at the PETROCAN physically got 4 Ottawa police officers to be irate and to be like super goofs. You know, like 2 up the back stairs, 2 up the front. Where is he? Where does he live? We want him. Where is he? You know, like, what? What? Why are you? Mike at PETROCAN got 4 police officers, 2 cruisers to show up at my door for the cops to be aggressive with all my neighbors and the 2 cars, and all of it undocumented, like they were never here. The problem is the rooming house across the street, every one of them hates cops, right? So when I called the police, you know, how did you know that they were there if you weren't home? She says, my neighborhood told me. She goes, what? I go, yeah, the people in my neighborhood told me. Oh, she says, well, Sean, there's nothing I can do. There's no report of these cars being at your door or the cops being at your back door or your front door or interviewing the old man at the bottom of the stairs. Yeah, trying to get information about me from the guy downstairs. Trying to do your job when it's too late, Ottawa Police. That's what we call this. Doing your job when it's too late. This is an internal affairs thing. This is really, really, really going towards internal affairs. You know that, eh? Ottawa Police. Like, I've done this before with you people. Let's remember that. I've gone to internal affairs before. It was because of an irate police officer. Yeah. And at that time, the internal affairs guy, he knew my dad personally because we're such good people. Yeah. You can ask the RCMP what kind of people we are. Hey, we may have been drug dealers, but we were the nicest people you could ever meet. Polite, honest, forthwith, giving people stuff that didn't have stuff. Bad man, eh? Bad man. 4 cops. So like I said, this is going to end up like getting right out of control because of the boy that's crying wolf, because it doesn't look like that retard is going to stop calling the police. And on that note, like I've said many times, most people are really fucked up and they hang themselves. And that's what this guy's doing with every phone call. Every time he runs outside and cries wolf and grabs that phone and calls the police. Every time. Hurry up. He's buying milk again. Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No. He's buying salt and vinegar chips. Oh no. He's buying salt and vinegar chips.